right, so on 3, 2, 1.
I just caught a vibe with you, baby. Can't wait till I'm inside of you, baby. Waking up inside of you, baby. I just caught a vibe with you, baby. Can't wait till I'm inside of you, baby.
Welcome back, PowerHeads. It's been a long time. It's been since season 1. Now we're on season 2 of Ghost Book 2. And we're back with your man, E-Dot. We call him Idil because he's the invisible Dill.
Inviso-Dill.
There you go. That's what's up. And your boy, Warhog. So let's get it started. Here we are, man. We're back in season 2. Tariq is asleep. He's having ghost flashbacks again. And then, he smells a little something. And next thing you know, Left Eye's in the crib.
And look, man, they were burning the crib up in the beginning. Look, I don't know about you guys. I don't burn the kitchen up when I cook. That was an interesting way to start the episode out. I'll say that because it gave a lot of information about what's going to kind of happen a little bit later on as far as what the grandmother's mental state is and her situation and kind of how the episode goes.
No doubt, man. And she comes out, teeing and totally. Your girl Estelle, is already tied it on for the morning. Talking about, I like my bacon crispy.
Not burnt.
I don't like my house burnt either. I like my house crispy. So, he was like, Yasmin, is Estelle still drinking? And she was like, it's getting worse. Please come back and move in with us. And then we segue to the next section. And I was like, damn, Yasmin is twisting the breeze, right? So meanwhile, he's back on campus again. He's talking to your boy, Braden, your favorite character. You love him.
Yeah, that's your favorite chicken cutlet.
With base seasoning on him. And I don't know why base seasoning, but it just seems like it would go with. He's basically, chatting up with him. He doesn't know where Tariq is at, with the drug game and everything. And he invites him to the Weston hunting trip, the Weston family hunting trip.
Yeah, it's the worst decision he could have ever made. Even though we're on the lighter side of life, they don't seem to be too fond of people that look like either myself, you, or Tariq.
So they hook up with them. All of a sudden, Congressman Rick Sweeney, who used to be Braden's dad's roommate, they're all part of the whole secret fraternity, inside a fraternity. He is the worst Pacino imitation I have seen in my life. You know what I mean?
I'll give you that. Can we also pay a little bit of credence to the fact that there are fraternities inside of fraternities?
What you talking about, Willis?
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. It looks like Tariq might end up fighting himself off another harem member because he gets into it. The boy goes rolling up on him, Sweeney, and of course he's on the attack. He sees a minority and he's like, it's so great we're reaching out to your people, and like he has a handout. And then so he squashes the handout piece and he says, my dad took care of my scholarship. And then Braden steps up for him and he's like, yo, he's in a canonical studies class. And he's like, oh, wow. Well, it's great that you came out of your community to do that. And then he's like, but, it's unfortunate what happened to your dad. And, I just hope those things aren't true because all the damage that street drugs do to the society. And your boy Tariq opens up a can of whoop ass on the gun.
He does, man, and so it's really funny because in my medical career, I got my start in pharmaceutical sales, legal, and I remember, there was one time. I'm sure you know how I operate, and I can be very sarcastic at times, and I was speaking with an individual and he was like, oh my God, yeah, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a drug dealer. And I said it with a bone straight face. And he looked at me and was like, wait, what?
Tariq.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm a drug dealer, just on the legal side. That's what I do. So like the response that Tariq got in the way that he handled that situation, I loved. And the reason why was because he sat there and he said, look, he's like, the drugs y'all sell versus the drugs my dad was accused of selling, no different. Only thing is you lobby to get them legal. Like that's, essentially that, and that's the real truth. We all sell drugs. Like it's just a matter of,
well, he wouldn't hopefully say that.
No, he's like, we all sell drugs. yours are just legal because you paid off lobbyists.
And then, and then he said, "It's by the way, exactly."
He's like, "How much money you taking for Big Pharma?" Like, he knows.
And this is the harem moment because he's picked up another girl in the harem because the girl Becca said, "Bring him back all the time." And I was like, "Oh man, doesn't he have enough to deal with right now? You know, he's got the colors of Benetton about to happen up in this joint." He's got Effie, Lauren, Diana, and now he's got Becca. Especially,
but I think that was a big thing. We saw. I really thought Lauren and Tariq were gonna have a thing, and then it got broken up by that text message. And then Effie. I mean, it's like, damn, Tariq. Like, come on, fam.
Too much.
You got to pick one. It's too much going on because they're all in different parts of his life. You got to at some point not let it all overlap, but they're all in so many different parts of his life that this can't end well.
So now we're bumping forward to Tejada's residence. Your girl is running to the safe, Monet. She's running to the safe, I might say, and I'm gonna keep this down very low right now, but looking pretty good in her little outfit. But she's trying to move. And
very good.
She rolls to the gun safe, and I'm like, everybody in her house shoots. So who are you protecting right now? So she goes, grabs a gun, she's rolling around the house, and Drew's popping up in the kitchen, dropping glasses and whatnot, because he's still recovering from his injury. He's very frosty towards Monet. You know, he's like, you know, Diana will change my wounds and all that. It's like, you know, he's going through a lot because they show him a little bit later, you know, he's trying to draw it, and that was his main passion, and he can't because his drawing hand is all jacked up. And so he's just getting frustrated with everything. And he also blames Monet a lot for what happened, but I think we all saw him jump up and run into the line of fire, and that's why he got capped.
We all saw that.
Yeah. So
I'm going to say this. If you're not shooting back, when the bullets start flying, you grab whoever is near you and you pull them down to the ground.
That's it.
If you go running towards it and you get hit, it's like Secret Service, right? Your job, if you're a Secret Service agent, is to stand up and take a bullet. None of them work for the Secret Service. Excuse me, sir, get down. Like, you don't need to be up. Get down.
That's not my job.
Yeah, it's not my job.
I didn't sign on for this. She calls Tariq in, and that's what happened. You were talking earlier about the little situation with Lauren. He was about to get in it because she was like, you know, you're not talking to me. Why aren't you crying for Jabari? And he's like, wait a minute. I lost my dad. Killed him. I lost my dad. My mom's in WITSEC. I lost two of my best friends. You know, I lost my godfather and my godmother, and I don't really have the tears to cry for Jabari. So then he was like, you know, you don't know my pain. And she's like, I want to know your pain.
Don't let my girlfriend find out. Lauren is impeccable. Yeah. Anyways, back to the previously scheduled programming.
It's on. Sorry. It's on. Right.
Yeah. We're here with it. We're here with it.
See, he goes summoned to Monet's office and whatnot. So, and Monet's like, I'm cooking. And I'm like, well, she must cook pretty well. So they're all sitting around and she drills them. You don't know this guy who died or anything like that, all that stuff. And she's bugging out. But then she's like, I don't want my main distro caught up in this. Now, this is right around the time where she's telling the whole family that she wants an exit strategy and everybody's got to get out.
Exactly. And that was a weird situation because it was like, are you trying to get out or are you trying to stay in? Or is Tariq your main distro right now because you want to stack until you know you can get Zeke out, you know, in the league? I think it's a horrible thing because, look, you know, I get it. Having been an athlete and all that kind of stuff, it's like somebody's looking at you as an exit strategy, and that's horrible. Like, they're looking at him and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna travel with them. I'm gonna manage him. You're gonna keep the hose away." It's like, well, I mean, that's what she said.
It was bad funny. She said you're gonna keep the thoughts away.
The thoughts away, but you know.
And she has appointed herself and the rest of her family in these roles without consulting the man. And then Drew speaks up for him. He's like, Mom, Zeke is not product.
He was like, you know, he was talking. They were all sitting there. And Diana almost like, she started questioning it. She was like, wait, Zeke's the new drug. Like that's all this is. That's all that is. We sold drugs. Now we about to sell Zeke.
I think he was making a point about that. Like, this is effed up. And then,
yes, 100%. Like 100%, yeah.
Then he said later on when he's talking to Diana, he's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be Zeke's bitch now?" And he's like, "No, this is not gonna work." And then him and Diana's like, "Yeah," and then with cutting and running on Lorenzo, we just gonna leave him twisting and whatnot. And so then they were like, "Okay, we gotta start making some moves." Now, what Monet was saying, and then she definitely, put in Tariq's head that he's the distro and they had some product for him. Now, before that happened, they were running the streets. They had a little scam going on there. So Diana and her were doing all the shopping, getting all the fly gear, but then they switched up the bricks with it.
It was a way to be able to move the weight without bringing attention, right? Because if you're also on a shopping spree, there's a lot of bags and you're coming out of these reputable stores with bags. So if at some point you go and bust a quick left and swap some of the
you still got bags that were coming from a shopping trip.
You still got bags that were coming from a shopping strip. I mean, and I think we also saw that Diana held her own when the police officer showed up, and she's like, keep him interested, flirt a little bit, make him think he can get it. And that's why the cop gave her his number and took off.
But also know something. Your girl, Monet, is slipping. Because what did Diana say when she was getting out of the car? She was like, "Mom, we got product. We don't need to be lounging around.
We don't need to make a stop. Yeah. We don't need to make stops. Like no. I mean,
is the Popeye sandwich being sold here?
No, you're 100% correct. I mean, she was slipping. And I think that's also the reason why she was like, we got to get out of the game. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she's like, I'm slipping because I have a lot of other stuff that's on my mind that we're doing and that we're dealing with. And that there's so much going on. I think she's just not capable of, handling everything, and she's like, I gotta get out.
Let's move forward. So we got Kane. He popped up a little bit. He gets nervous. He goes to Tariq. Tariq steps to him and says, "If we both shut the fuck up, then this is gonna go away." And I was like, okay.
That was the most real statement that has been said. I might even go and say that might be the most real statement that's ever been said in the Power series. And the reason why is because Tariq's like, bro, if you shut the fuck up, we the only two people that know. Ain't gonna be no problems. If we start trying to, quote unquote, fix things.
Like wifey says, cállate. Now she don't say that to me, but cállate is shut the fuck up, basically.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
He's up there and he's making these moves. He comes out of this party with a little guap, and it's like daylight. And I'm like, man, they've been partying hard. It's definitely New York. So basically, he starts kind of like grilling him. Oh, you know what, Dad? Yeah, I kind of do. And he's like, but not directly. And he's like, did you know he's in prison? Yo, you trying to test me? What's up? Then out of nowhere, come the rest of GTG. They're rolling up on Guap. They're rolling up on your boy Kane, and they're rolling up this new dude. They're like, you just getting caught in the crossfire. That's just what it is. And they got their gats. Meanwhile, Mecca's just like, what? So Mecca, I want to say, this is dude, he's been in a whole lot of stuff. This dude is Daniel Sonata. This dude has been in The Dark Knight. He's been in Twilight Zone. He's been in Rescue Me. He looks a little different now. Now he has a baldy, and instead of the little slim pretty boy stuff, he is swole up like he's been working out with Busta Rhymes and Dr. Dre. I was like, damn. They go ahead and they find the third member of GTG. Now, we're starting to find out Mecca is just some time a high roller, man. He's got all those hot cars. You could probably name him. I probably couldn't. The fly jet. And he's like, oh, we caught the third GTG guy. Why don't you show me who you are? And he said, man, I don't got to show you nothing. He just cut him loose. And then he swamped with him. And he went ahead and broke his neck. So it was like, I don't need to prove nothing to you. I am who I am. And he's like, oh, okay. So he walks away and leaves him around all this stuff and a dead body.
Out of multiple TV shows, and I'm sure that you can understand, someone who in the medical and in the fight world can understand, that was the worst interpretation of someone breaking someone's neck that I think I've seen in a movie in recent history.
Yeah, he's cranking around. He just pulled it to the side, and that's a side choke. It's not even going to knock him out.
No.
Because you're doing the standing side choke. So that was pretty horrible. Pretty horrible.
You gotta. I'm not saying like I don't know the recipe, but I mean it's just saying it.
You take set neck. You take set neck. You torque it in a direction that it should no longer go in.
Yeah. That wasn't it.
No. He leaves him alone by the plane, and he goes strolling past the plane. And what does he see? Bricks. Gangs of bricks. And he's like, hey, let me go and touch this. And the dude has already killed how many people? And he just met him?
Like 4 or 5, like you just met him.
Like, what are you doing?
That day.
And in reality, he would have been the fourth one. He would have got capped immediately for touching his bricks. He goes ahead and he's like, man, I see all this supply, but I don't see any soldiers. And, you know, I could be your dude. And he's like, well, you got something to prove to me. He's like, put me on. So I was like, okay, all right. So now he's got something to take back to the family. Little does he know, where the hell is Monet getting it from? She's got a new plug.
Yes, she has a new plug, but the problem is now she's got 2 plugs. And she didn't realize that she was going to have 2 plugs. Because she did
she don't have 2 plugs, but she didn't let him in the door.
Yeah, but I mean, we have to also go ahead and take into consideration that this
is going to happen.
So she's gonna have 2 plugs at some point. She never thought she was gonna have that. So now she's like, wait, fuck, like what am I gonna do? I've got all this weight that's got to get pushed. And what she said when she was talking about Tariq, she called him distro. That was her also realizing, I gotta move this. Like, I really got to move this. Tariq been selling for a long time. She never called him distro. Even when they had the app going, Tariq and Braden had the app going. They were selling at Stansfield and all that. She never called him distro. Like that's a word in that industry. That's a word of respect. You know, that's a word of I'm letting you know where you stand. And she didn't call him that before. And then all of a sudden now, she's calling Tariq distro. So I don't know if she's doing it to make him feel comfortable. He's her only distro.
Back in the day when we used to rumble in the neighborhood and one of the kids, the girlfriend, you know, started saying, he disrespected me and all this. The other guy would always say, don't let her pump your heart up, man, because it might bust. So moving forward, though, you've been waiting to say it. McLean Davis is up to something. What's happening? McLean
Davis might have just, and if it works in the way that he's intending for it to work, he's going to pull off like the swindle of all time. Sachs is working for him, and I don't know the exact angle, but we saw at the end of this episode, Davis is only getting Sachs to get his brother out.
Who is his brother? Who is Theo Rollins?
Method Man and Redman, they all look the same. They both are. They might as well be brothers in real life. Okay,
there you go, man. The Funk Dr. Spock is in the building.
Yes. So there's obviously a lot more to this at play, and I think we're gonna figure out, what Sax's role in his brother's imprisonment is, because I think that there's something bigger, right? I think there's something, it's not just, I got somebody from the DA's office, we're gonna work on getting you out. I think McLean knows that Sachs is dirty, and he's gonna use that to get his brother out at some point.
Could be. Or he's just gonna be, the white man is usually better in court because of racism as far as getting people out of stuff. But
Sachs is horrible in court. Sachs is the worst lawyer in the entire show.
But that's incompetence. But remember, McLean Davis is behind everything. Moving forward, just to sprinkle the last couple pieces in there, your boy Kevin Whitman, the new detective on the scene who just burnt Carrie, alias VWAT, instead of running back in the arms of Zeke, just to get her to identify and help him with the case, which is horrible. And then he goes ahead and calls the burner, and all of a sudden, Tariq picks up, and now he knows that the killer is on Stansfield's campus.
Tariq thought it was his mother, because that was Tariq's burner phone, and Tariq thought it was his mother calling him, and that's why he picked up. Second he heard a man's voice, he stopped. He never said a fucking word. He hung up. He took the SIM card out.
But let's wrap this last little bit up, man. The honey trip, the craziest part of all, and your boy Sweeney, he pops up the deer, and the deer, is about to die, but he's running off into the forest. And then he shoots and almost hits Tariq, which is, I find that hell of a coincidence. And then so Tariq is, man, I am out of here.
Have you ever heard the joke from Cat Williams? And he was like, look, you don't go hunting as a black man with your white friend. He goes, because he was like, oh my God, did you see that nigga getting out that Cadillac? Did you see that deal getting out that Cadillac?
So just to wrap it all up, we got one last guy, Tate. So he's just getting drunk on his brother's couch, and your boy Khan gets at him, and he's like, look, man, you can get out of my house or get together and do something. So he's like, he wants to take Sweeney's seat. He goes to Ott, and Ott tells him to get some dirt, and now he gets his brother to sign into the police info blotter. Yeah,
he's like, give me the info. Tate's coming back. Tate's gonna come back. Tate gonna get some power somewhere, somehow, and Tate is going to be an issue.
All right. So there we go, man. We're wrapping up another show. You know, we're at the last minute. So just signing off from your man E-Dot, your man Warhawk, and Ideal. What's up? Say something.
I got to get more clever at the end of these things, man.
There you go. All right. We'll set you up better next time. Yeah. One love, everybody. Thanks a lot, fellas.
One love.
Let's get it going. Who's his brother? Who is Theo Rollins? Who's playing Theo Rollins? Are you freezing? Oh, that's Redman, bro.
I know it's. I mean, I thought it was a trick question for a second.
No, it was the intro. I want y'all to fool you.
I thought it was a trick question.
I knew you knew the answer. That's why I was like,
I'm like,
he's gonna
yeah.
say
That's why I was
Redman.
That's why I was looking at you like we were talking. Like, nigga, this is a trick question.